This is now video number 6 of this 7-part series on how to start your podcast in less than 7 days. Now, the last video that we talked about was identifying your target audience, and now we're going to be discussing how to get people interested in your podcast. And there's 3 different ways on how you can get people interested in your podcast. Number 1 is going to surround the launch of your podcast. I was a part of a podcast launch just a month ago where I was reached out to by someone who I'll be talking about in a future video or even one of my courses. I'll be interviewing her, and she wanted to get her podcast launched and started organically. That's the first step, is to do a launch organically. And what I mean by that is to get people excited before you even release an episode, so that you can draw interest and you can get a certain amount of numbers before you even release that first episode, so that you can give either someone that you're interviewing or guests that you have on your show an idea of what your potential reach might be. And different ways that you can launch organically, you could do Facebook groups are a great way. If you already have people that are potentially interested in your podcast to go onto. And what you can set up is you can set up different organization tactics where you can get people to share certain information about your podcast and give them a step-by-step thing, and then reward them at the end for sharing whatever content. Just be like, hey, there's 2 weeks until the so-and-so's podcast comes out, just to get that little bit more excitement and a little more oomph for that launch. So that's a great way. Facebook groups. And there's also preview videos that you can do as well. You can do a preview launch, which is what I did for my Block E podcast. So I did a preview video on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as on SoundCloud, to get people kind of excited. So I'm like, hey, 1 week until I do this project. So make sure that you're tuning in. Please give a specific date for when you're starting your podcast. And another tidbit to get more people interested and to become a recurring audience is to stick to a specific time and day that you're releasing your podcast. So that's just a side tip on how to get people more interested. But going back to the main topic, so the first one was at launch, where you can do like different Facebook groups and organize people to share different things in order to get their friends or followers excited for your podcast. The other one is to just do a preview video. And what you can do with that preview video is what we're going to go into with this second step, and that is with advertisement. Okay, with the preview video, you can do a paid campaign either through Google. You could do one for like, hey, new podcast or whatever, and then you can have your advertisements on Google, so that either through your website or through your SoundCloud link or whatever medium that you're using to draw eyeballs to your podcast. So that would be a great way to drive traffic. Another way is with Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And that's a really cool way to target people that are within your niches. So if your niche is going to be hockey, for example, and your first episode, you're going to have a hockey player from the Vancouver Canucks on your team, you're going to want to target people that are fans of the Vancouver Canucks. And when you can target people for a specific team and you're going to have a guest on your show that is on that team, then you can draw interest from that crowd. And then you can do a targeted campaign either through Facebook, or you can do a targeted campaign through Instagram with that preview video that you already made. So you could already have interest in that. So that's a really good way to get people interested in your podcast. That's the second way. And the third way to get people interested in your podcast is through giveaways. Okay, so giveaways, be like, hey, if you listen to the first like 2 or 3 episodes of the podcast and I will be doing a secret word each episode. And if you can make a full sentence with those secret words, then you can get a 500 gift certificate to either a sponsor, or you can give away a cash amount yourself. So you can get it either with like a sponsorship, so you can reach out to different businesses or wherever, and that's a good way to get sponsorship on your podcast, is to do different giveaways like this. And then you can also do it with different collaborations as well. You can have one of your guests like do a giveaway or do a promotion on your podcast, and say you have someone that's teaching a course, and they're going to give you like a 15% discount if you use your podcast name inside of the promotion or discount details. And that's a great way to draw more traffic to your podcast from their audience, as well as gain a new audience for yourself. So let's go back and retouch on those three things. So the first one is to do a launch, which can be organic. The second one is through advertisement. You can do it through Google, you can do it through Facebook, you can even be creative and do other platforms as well. You don't have to stick just to those ones. And then the third one is through giveaways and bonuses. Okay, so those are the three ways to get people interested in your podcast before you even get started, as well as once you have a few episodes underneath your belt. So that is the last thing I'm going to talk about inside of this video. We're going to move on to the final video of this 7-part series on how you can get your podcast started in less than a week. Okay, catch you in the last one.